How are you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to have you today. Yeah, really excited to see you as well. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Very happy to be here. Always excited to talk about Bitcoin, talk about Lightning, and just spread the gospel. So I'm excited to be here.
All right, great. I think without much ado, I think I'll just give the floor over to you. Maybe before you even get started, maybe you can tell us a bit about your background, and how you got into the space, and then you can go straight to your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Bernard Para, co-founder and CEO of Bitnob. What we do at Bitnob is we essentially build financial services on top of Bitcoin. So you have financial services today, but they are built on legacy banking rails, right? But at Bitnob, what we're doing is we're rebuilding it from the ground up using this new technology. A little bit of background about me. Have a software engineering background, originally from Nigeria. Did my tertiary in Ghana, got back to Nigeria, started Bitnob. And yeah, it's been fun, tough times, but it's just been exciting because it's something that, I fell in love with since I got into Bitcoin sometime in 2013 and kind of seeing the upsides and the downsides. And every day is just exciting for me today because, this is going mainstream, right? We're here talking about Bitcoin. Back in the day, like we probably don't have something like this happening, but, all of you here have heard about Bitcoin one way or the other. You've probably used Bitcoin, you're excited about the future. And, it's just one of those beautiful things that I'm happy to work on, and excited. I feel privileged to be working on Bitcoin. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
All right, great. Thank you for that. So I think at this point, I can let you, Bernard, take over and with your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So we are going to be talking about, leveraging the Bitcoin Lightning Network for faster and cheaper transactions. And it's just, can you indicate if you've ever done a Bitcoin transaction? Just in the comments section, just let me know if you've ever done a Bitcoin transaction. Okay, you haven't done a Bitcoin transaction before. Wow, interesting. Okay, but your first one today. Okay, wow, 2018. This makes it easier for me because can anyone state maybe have you ever felt pains while maybe the fees, maybe you were trying to make a $10 transaction and the fees were like $2-3? Has anyone ever faced something like that? High network fees? Have you ever been worried about network fees as well? Today, I'm going to show you a way to actually do real Bitcoin transactions. And think of a Bitcoin transaction where you can send even less than $1. And it's actual Bitcoin you're sending, almost for free. And it happens instantly. And sometime during the session, we're also going to be able to test that ourselves, that it actually works. Yeah. So leveraging the Bitcoin Lightning Network for faster and cheaper transactions. When we look at the Lightning Network, the current Bitcoin network, what's the problem? The fees become higher because more people are using the network, especially in times where you have like a bull market. You have everyone trying to buy Bitcoin. People are trying to send the Bitcoin to exchanges to do some form of trading. People are trying to send money back home with Bitcoin. People are trying to pay for stuff with their Bitcoin. You just have it's that crazy because everyone's talking about Bitcoin. So everyone wants to do something. But then what happens is you have so many transactions that you either have to pay plus fees or you just have to pay a regular fee and wait maybe hours or in some cases some extreme days before your transaction gets cleared, right? And this is happening because a lot of people are using the network. When you look at it, there are transactions there. We have like a lot of headlines like this. This was even 2017, more than $700 million stock, with Bitcoin transactions. What if you're trying to do something really fast and these transactions, get stuck? I've had a case where someone sent Bitcoin and they needed it to trade something on another exchange, and it was stuck on the blockchain for 2-3 days because they paid really low fees. Now, at the end of the day, they've lost the opportunity to, perform that trade. And think of it, what if this was an emergency that they wanted to send money to someone? Their money is stuck on the chain. There's nothing they can do about it. The exchange can't do much for them, and it's just stuck. It's not really good. But in the early days of Bitcoin, because a lot of people were not using Bitcoin, we could do transactions instantly and almost for free. But we don't have that today because Bitcoin is almost everywhere. Africa is huge on Bitcoin. Asia is huge on Bitcoin. Latin America is big on Bitcoin. So it's just a global thing right now. How do we get this to 1 billion people, for example? We don't have 1 billion people using Bitcoin today. A couple of millions of people. And this is a problem we're already facing with the fees. Now, what if you have 1 billion people using Bitcoin? What then happens? With what we've seen so far, it becomes unusable because it's either you pay a lot of fees or you pay little and wait for days. And how many people can afford to do that? It doesn't make sense for me to say I want to do a $10 transaction and I'm paying a fee of, $5, $6, or even $2 is a lot to pay for a $10 fee. This also means that it makes Bitcoin difficult for me to use, every day. So as Africans, we're kind of restricted in a lot of ways. So, using our debit cards, we can't make like a lot of payments on many sites. We're just restricted from the financial system. What if you go find a website where they could accept your Bitcoin for something? Say you go on a Namecheap and they accept your Bitcoin to pay for a domain. And when you're making that payment, you have to wait maybe hours for it to get confirmed. Just because of the mechanism that the blockchain uses, that the Bitcoin blockchain uses, which is you pay miners these fees to process your transaction for you. So the person who pays, the more you pay, the faster your transaction goes. How many of us can afford to do that, right? We just want to use Bitcoin. We don't want to waste our Bitcoin on fees, right? And that is where Lightning comes in. If we want to scale Bitcoin to a place where I can pay you, I can just send $1 to you. I can buy a cup of coffee. I'm just passing by the street and I see this musician and I really like what they're doing. I can just instantly tip them. Bitcoin needs to be able to handle that. Bitcoin needs to be able to have a layer that allows us, perform everyday transactions cheaply, instantly, and still having the security that Bitcoin blockchain offers. And that's where the Lightning Network comes in. So the Lightning Network is simply a layer on top of the Bitcoin blockchain that just basically puts Bitcoin on steroids, gives Bitcoin wings. And it just works in a way that when you think of, you have a congested road, and what's the best way for us to reduce the traffic on this road? You could say, you know what, we're going to build a flyover on this road. And that flyover becomes something like the Lightning Network, where other cars who want to move faster can choose to go through that flyover, right? While everyone who is not in a hurry can continue using the normal road. So Bitcoin is just, Lightning is a layer on top of Bitcoin. It depends on Bitcoin's security, depends on Bitcoin's technology. But what it has done, it has said, you know what, for a lot of everyday transactions, most of the transactions are not going to happen on the Bitcoin blockchain itself. We are going to bring it to this layer, right? So kind of like a database kind of thing. And how does it work? So let's say you have a coffee shop and I come to your shop every day to take some coffee and I want to be paying you with Bitcoin. How feasible it is currently? It's also feasible because if I'm buying a cup of coffee, maybe it's worth just $1. I might need to pay even $2, $3 for the fees. So what happens in this case with the Lightning Network? The Lightning Network, I'm going to open like a channel with you, what we call a payment channel. And when you think of a payment channel, just think of it like a safety deposit box. So I say, hey, you know what? David's coffee shop. This is me, Bernard. I want to take coffee in your shop every day. Why don't we have a way that I can always pay you in cents? If your coffee costs 50 cents, after I take my coffee, I pay you. It's still Bitcoin. So we have to open it. We open what we call a payment channel. Whenever I come, I take my coffee, I pay David 50 cents, 70 cents, 10 cents, I pay David. So that Lightning channel keeps the balance, keeps like a ledger of the transactions between David and I. So whenever I pay David, the money moves into his own balance. Say, hey, you know what, David, when I just paid you this amount, so your balance is this. David, when I just paid you again, this is it. When my money is exhausted on my own side of the channel, then we can say, you know what, David, we can close this channel and open another one. When we close it, David is going to receive actual Bitcoin into his own wallet. And it just happens that way because now there's no need for you to wait for confirmation times on the blockchain. There's no need for you to say, hey, you know what, how much fees do I have to pay for this transaction to go fast? Lightning Network solves all of that. And with the Lightning Network transaction, what I've just explained is I could go to David's coffee shop for 30 days and pay him 30 times. Those transactions are all off-chain. The only time we do an actual Bitcoin transaction on the main net or on-chain is when we're trying to open the payment channel. So when opening the payment channel, it could be that, you know what, I'm going to put 0.5 BTC in this channel. And then when I put it, what happens is we send an actual Bitcoin when opening the channel. It gives us an address where we send an actual transaction. And once it's settled, the channel gets open for the two of us. And at the end of the transactions as well, when David now wants to take his Bitcoin into his wallet, we do what we call channel closing. And then for that, on the main net, because David has an address, an actual Bitcoin address where the money will come to. So basically what you're doing is you're saying, you know what, this thing, it's like a bank. Transactions between two people who use the same bank should typically be faster than people who use different banks. So the moment we bring those transactions into a payment channel, it's like the two of us are saying, you know what, this is now looking like two people doing transaction from the same bank. So for that bank, all they need to do is move the numbers between those two people's accounts, and then that's all. They don't have to do settlement with any other external bank. The channel closing is the place where they're having to do a settlement with an external bank, for example, to say, okay, from Standard Bank to Chartered Bank, we're two different customers, we've made payments. At the end of the day, those two banks have to settle. But a Lightning one is I just think of two people in a Chartered Bank just doing transactions with each other. Chartered Bank doesn't need to settle with any other third party. So that's how it works. So do you need to worry about, all this channel opening that I'm talking about? Do you need to worry about that? If you go to David's store, you have to say, David, you know what, let's actually open a channel. No. Lightning has advanced to a stage where the same way you have Bitcoin wallets and you don't need to worry about how Bitcoin mining works, how transactions are signed, and all of that, Lightning wallets also take care of that for you. So the same way you're able to do a Bitcoin transaction today, there are wallets that allow you actually carry out Lightning transactions. Same way, both wallets will need to support the Bitcoin protocol for you to transact. Then Lightning also supports that. So both wallets have to support Lightning, and you just do it. So for those of you who are like really technical, who want to dive deep into this, there are tools called Umbrel, MyNode that allow you to run your own Lightning channels, Lightning nodes, and play around with the technology. What do people really use the Lightning Network for today? In general, I'll say anything they can use a Bitcoin transaction for, right? But it's always good to go into specifics. And for now, we have things like payments. So recently, Substack, the content creation platform that's for newsletters, recently launched out Lightning support. So I could be in Nigeria, I could be in Kenya, I could be in Ghana, and I have this really great newsletter that I love on Substack, and I couldn't pay for it before with my card. Now I can do that with Lightning. Can get that content out, and it's good. Look at places like McDonald's in El Salvador right now, they're accepting Lightning payments. So what it means is I can travel to El Salvador and I don't need to have a bank account to be able to eat there. I could just walk into McDonald's, get whatever I want, and just use my Lightning wallet because I already have Bitcoin with it. This time I don't have to wait long for it to get confirmed. It's just instant. The other part is, of course, remittances as well. So if you've heard about El Salvador, what's happening with El Salvador, where Bitcoin has been made a legal tender, they're able to do that and make it a legal tender and make it easy for payments because of Lightning. So people don't have to wait 10 minutes for a transaction to go through. You pay instantly and it's received. It also means that people from the US can send money back to people in El Salvador instantly via Lightning. Shameless plug as well. So recently, that was sometime in August, because of Bitnob's Lightning integration, we're able to do an instant and almost free remittance from the US to someone in Nigeria, using the Strike app and the Bitnob app, because we both support Lightning. So someone in the US can instantly send even 50 cents to me in Nigeria, and the person will probably pay less than a penny for that transaction, right? So this is already happening, and it's going to blow up, even with the Twitter's recent integration as well. It's just going to blow up. People use this for remittances already. So if you already use Bitcoin for remittances, if people send money to you at home, from the US using Bitcoin, Lightning makes it even easier for them, makes it cheaper for them. And what typically happens with remittances is the fact that people typically want to save a lot. So they want to save $100, $200, $500 because of the fees. So they don't want to be sending $10 home, $20 because it doesn't make sense. They're paying a lot of fees. But with Lightning, what it means is your cousin in the US, for example, they say, hey, you know what? Just get me some airtime. I don't need any money. Just get me some airtime. And they could just take up their Lightning wallet and send you $5. Instantly, you're going to receive your $5. Nothing taken away from you. So it's really interesting, the possibilities that Lightning enables. Just think of everything you're able to do with Bitcoin today that is slower, that you feel is very difficult. Lightning solves for most of those problems. One other thing is payments as well. So when you think of virtual cards, so in Nigeria, for example, we can't spend more than $100 on our debit cards, on international stores. So just think about it. You work hard, you earn your money, but you can't. So let's say you have Netflix, you have Spotify, you have SoundCloud, you have all of these things, or you buy things on Amazon to sell back home. You can do that. But with Lightning, there's an app called MoonPay. So it's a startup in the US that allows you to say, you know what, using Lightning, you pay us, we're going to give you a virtual card, right? With that virtual card, you can shop on all US stores. So you can have as much as $1,000 on a card and $10,000 in total in 10 different cards. So this is just what it opens. You don't need to go to a bank to get this card. It's just online. You get your card, you do whatever you want to do with it, and you're already communicating with the world. So it's really interesting. I think one of the most interesting use cases for me for Lightning as well is micropayments, right? So content creators, you're a content creator, you do a lot of good work. It's difficult for people to tip you because sometimes even the minimum amounts that their banks allow them to tip you is really low. It's just crazy, right? So the Twitter integration, for example, you're just in Kenya and you have a tipping, set, in button on your profile, and you're able to accept lightning tips. What it means is you put out that video, you put out that tweet, someone anywhere really likes it, because I say, you know what, I should give this person for this. There's no restriction because maybe the person uses PayPal, but you don't use PayPal. Maybe the person uses Venmo, the person uses Cash App, but you don't have access to those. How does the person tip you? Can use Lightning to do that. If they were going to use Bitcoin, they'd be worried about the fees. They say, I just want to give this person $1. Like, what do I have to pay $2 fees to get this person $1 to this person? It doesn't make sense. But with Lightning, they can do that. There's an application called Sphinx Chat as well, where people are earning, via Lightning. There are podcasting applications. So there's an interesting one that happens to someone called Matt Bent. So what he does is this, he has this podcast where you can set a tipping to say, every minute I listen to this podcast, I want to tip this person 10 Satoshis. I want to tip this person 1 cent. And while he's just there, he's just getting money coming in. He's just getting money coming in because people are listening and people are tipping him in real time. And so it just opens up a lot of possibilities. Just think of you going to play a game, all these online games where people play, they earn and stuff, but they can't really withdraw it because maybe the payment methods those gaming platforms support is not from Africa. With Lightning, it happens. It's instant. If you earn even 2 Satoshis from those platforms, you're going to receive your money via Lightning. So it's kind of exciting. So many beautiful things. Everything that people have told you before about Bitcoin not being able to, have fast transactions, it's kind of coming to an end. It's towards the end right now. Like Twitter has done it, right? El Salvador has done it. El Salvador has more than 1.2 million people using their official Lightning wallet, which is like really big. This is a whole country getting, actually using Bitcoin, daily. So yeah, so it's interesting. So if you want to get started, what wallets support Lightning today? You have Blue Wallet, you have the Bitnob wallet, Shameless Plug, of course. You have Strike is in the US, you have Moon Wallet, you have Paxful, you have Wallet of Satoshi, and there's also many more of them. If you just Google like Lightning supported wallets, you just get like a whole lot of them. Like it's still early days, but it's catching on like wildfire. So yeah, happy to take your questions. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, great. Thanks, Bernard, for that awesome presentation. I think we have quite a number of questions here. I think people are really excited about the Lightning Network and its capabilities. Again, I would like to urge people, just keep the questions coming. I think the next phase will be a demo on how the Lightning Network actually works. So that will be quite something. So I think for now, we have just 1-2 questions. I think, Bernard, you want to take the questions now, or you want to do it after the demo?
Okay, so why don't we take 2 questions, then we do a demo, then we can take the other questions.
I like this question from Victor. So Victor is asking, between the Bitcoin Lightning Network, Solana blockchain, and the Ethereum L2 solutions, which one is cheaper from your experience in terms of fees?
Okay, very good. So I haven't used the Ethereum layer 2 solutions just yet. I think I've seen Polygon and Co. I haven't used them yet. But then, so the interesting thing about Lightning is a protocol, right? So it can be implemented on any other blockchain. So most likely the fees are going to be like really similar. It also depends on who you are paying to, who are you paying to, and all of that. I think the most interesting thing about the Bitcoin one is the fact that it's actually really decentralized. So if you look at Solana, for example, you probably can't run your own node. You probably have to spend thousands of dollars, running your own node. Ethereum, something similar. But with Bitcoin, you can run your own node on a Raspberry Pi. So it just means that you have more network effect. You have more people, actually using the Bitcoin Lightning network. So at the end of the day, I think it's kind of like, what transaction are you trying to do? Are you trying to do an Ethereum transaction? Then of course, you have to just go for a layer 2 Ethereum, solution. If it's a Solana transaction, you go for a Solana. But if it's Bitcoin, then the Lightning Network is there. The Lightning Network also supports LTC, so Litecoin also has an implementation of the Lightning Network. So it's just a protocol, frankly, that any other chain can implement.
Thanks for that. I think another question, more or less related. Wachiz is asking, does BTC Lightning have interoperability features? Can it work with ETH, Solana blockchains?
Yeah, for now, what they call that's atomic swaps. So I don't know for ETH and Solana just yet, but I know that there's something for Litecoin and Bitcoin, because both of them already have Lightning implemented. So I think as things like ETH, Solana, gain more network effects, gain more popularity, we're likely going to be able to see those things happen between those chains.
I think we have more questions, but I think we can answer them later on so that we have enough time for the demo, and then we can take up the remaining ones. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to demo a Lightning transaction. David is having the Bitnob app, and he's going to request for I don't know, any amount, $1, $2, any amount, to show you guys that we can actually send actual Bitcoin, to via Lightning. And I just sent it to him. He's in Kenya, I'm in Nigeria right now, and he's going to receive it probably in less than 2 seconds. So I'll be sending mine from a Blue wallet while he has a Bitnob wallet. So David, once you have the invoice ready, you can share it in the chat.
Bitnob is one of the wallets that supports Lightning, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
So if you want to try it out also, yeah, feel free to download. So it's giving me 2 options. How do you want to receive BTC? So it's via Lightning and via on-chain. So I think I'll select Lightning. I'll ask for $1. Would have wanted to ask for 1,000, but let me just go for 1. So maybe also for anyone else who wants to try it out, maybe they can quickly download. Possibly Bernard can also.
Yeah, they can download their invoices. So let me quickly show them how to create an invoice. Just send your dollar invoices, and let's help you get your first Lightning transaction done. I was really excited when I did my first one, so it's a really exciting thing. So I'll just show you how to create an invoice. So when you go on the Bitnob app, for example, you're going to have like the wallet option. So you click on the wallet option, you tap on receive, and you see receive via Lightning or receive via on-chain. So, and if you tap on learn more, it's going to show you how to actually receive via Lightning. It's going to teach you about Lightning and show you what to do, and you can do that. So I say receive via Lightning, then I enter the amount, say okay, I want $1, say I want $1, so another $1. I say, oh, pay me. So it's going to create what we call a Lightning invoice. So if you've used Bitcoin before, typically what you do is you get a Bitcoin address, right? But with Lightning, you get what we call a Lightning invoice. So just say, hey, this is an invoice, pay me. And it's an invoice because you've already stated the amount. So typically with Bitcoin addresses, you don't state the amount, but with this, you've already said, this is the amount I want you to pay me. So anyone who scans this QR code can, from any Lightning enabled wallet, can also pay you, right? And you can also copy it as well and share it with the person. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So David,
awesome. So I think my wallet, I've just pasted my invoice on the chat section.
Okay, great. So guys, I'm gonna pay David from another Lightning wallet. So just look at this. So I'm paying David from another Lightning wallet. So I have a Blue wallet. So let's just see. In fact, we don't need to say anything. I'm in Nigeria, right? I could be anywhere in the world. And David will say, you know what, Bernard? I'm at this store, I need $1. I need to pay for this instantly. And David, you know what? I can't send you $1, from with Bitcoin. Or it's just $1, you need no problem, have it. And if I pay David now, David's going to receive it, So just look at the screen. Once my payment confirms, David will let you know that he has confirmed as well.
Received. It's already here.
It's good. Yeah. So I'm seeing more invoices. So
I mean, it's less than a second. Like this is amazing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's so yeah, I have one for Maurice. I'm gonna pay Maurice. So I'm gonna pay Maurice, gonna give him $1. So Maurice, you can, on your screen as you're there, once this payment confirms, you're gonna see it in your wallet. Don't forget that this is Blue Wallet. This is not Bitnob. You are on Bitnob, right? So this is an actual Bitcoin transaction. So on your wallet balance, you're gonna see that you actually have Bitcoin. Good. I love every single Lightning transaction I do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bernard, at this point, let us know now, are these transactions visible on the blockchain? Can you see them?
No, there's nothing to see on the blockchain. It's entirely private. Whoa, who is this? Come on, give me a $1 invoice. give me a dollar or two. Yeah, So Lightning transactions, with Bitcoin transactions, you can go to say a blockchain explorer, and you're able to see, hey, this has 5 confirmations, this has 2 confirmations. But with Lightning, you can't do that because it's instant. It either happens or fails, right? So it doesn't get stuck. It's either it works or not. So it really doesn't have those things. And so we could buy airtime for anyone, via Lightning. You could go on Bitrefill right now and you want to buy airtime, and I'll buy it and I'll pay for it for you from here. If you want a virtual card, you can go on Moon, get a Moon, and I'll pay for you from here via Lightning. There's just so much you can do.
I mean, yes, and also I think it's good to let people know these Bitcoins are actual Bitcoins, right? They don't live on the Lightning network.
No, they're actual Bitcoins. They're actual Bitcoins.
So you can actually send this to another non-Lightning wallet, right?
That's correct. That's very correct. Yeah, that's very correct.
Yeah, this is actual Bitcoins. So it's not like a special breed of Bitcoins that live on the Lightning network. So
no, it's actually Bitcoin. It's
quite amazing. It's quite amazing.
Bitcoins. I've paid Victor. Yeah, it's a full blown wallet. Yeah, it's a full blown wallet. So, I could give you a Lightning invoice. You could pay me back. We could do a lot of things. You could go on Bitrefill and say that you want to buy. Yeah. So Habib, yeah, a channel is like an escrow. It's an escrow, but it's a trustless escrow, right? Where you don't need to trust anyone. Just trust the code to be the escrow. So it's P2P. I'm just gonna pay another invoice and just copy this.
I mean, as you look for someone to pay, maybe we have more questions coming in, Bernard. So Maurice is asking about the Bitnob app that we are using. Bitnob app, we only have Nigerian banks. When are you planning to go global? I'm not sure what he's asking.
Okay, yeah. So what we're trying to do right now is we're currently exploring Kenya and South Africa. So because of course you know what it's like. Earlier I was saying that between Kenyans and Nigerians, I don't know who likes Bitcoin more. But the funny thing is we kind of have similar governments that when you look at this technology space, they're not really as forward-looking as we would have wanted, right? So you know how hard they clamp down on Bitcoin in Kenya. You know how hard it is in Nigeria. So we're looking at coming to Kenya, but it's mostly going to be like around a P2P kind of play, right? So we have a couple of people already using it in Kenya. So, and the way they use it is this: they have someone who can always buy their Bitcoin. So they get someone to send it to their Bitnob wallet. Once they receive it on their Bitnob wallet, they just pay the person to whatever wallet they have and receive their shillings in Kenya as well. So once we have the P2P set up, it's really, if you want to withdraw your money, you can easily have someone on the app in Kenya who is willing to take your Bitcoin for cash, right? So I'm not sure they will allow us to do in-person integrations directly.
I mean, yeah, I think I was telling Bernard this is now my favorite Lightning wallet. App, obviously. So I mean, it's so much easy to use. So again, I think we have another question here from Habib. Habib is really excited about the Lightning network. So he's I think it's a comment. He's saying, so the centralized exchanges, are they scamming us now?
I think they just need to implement Lightning. I understand them. Lightning's it's in its early stages. It's really difficult to implement. I mean, we have a couple of exchanges in Nigeria already implementing Lightning using our APIs. But I think in the next 1 year, you're going to see a lot of exchanges implementing Lightning. So for those who don't want to implement it, even though they know they should, it's because they're going to make more money with the on-chain fees. Because Lightning just means that they can make a lot of money with those fees as well. So it's really how are they going to charge you $30 to send out money? For example, if you're moving money out of Binance, it's a lot of money, right? So if Binance has Lightning, how are they going to charge you $30 or $20 to move your Bitcoin out of their platforms?
So Victor is asking, maybe you can just repeat it. Should one only send BTC to a Lightning wallet, or can one send to an on-chain wallet as well?
So it depends on your use case, right? So typically, most of the Bitcoin Lightning enabled wallets right now were already Bitcoin wallets before they integrated Lightning. So Bitnob, for example, before we did Lightning, we already had like a full-fledged Bitcoin wallet, right? But when your balances come via Lightning, they are settled as a single Bitcoin balance. So you can pay on-chain with it, you can pay via Lightning with it. So you can receive money on-chain and spend via Lightning from your Bitnob wallet, right? So you don't need to actually say, only send it to me via Lightning, and then so that I can spend it via Lightning, right? You can receive on-chain, spend via Lightning, you can spend via Lightning and pay, you can, and then, so basically you can actually interchange them. It's Bitcoin, it's just Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just that it might be more expensive and a bit
Yeah,
slower.
actually it's just more expensive. So the smart thing to do these days is, if you're trying to pay someone or pay for something, you know, and it's with Bitcoin, you can ask the person if they have a Lightning wallet, and if they have a Lightning enabled wallet, then you can just say, you know what, I'm going to pay you via Lightning, because I mean, I could pay you $100 and pay maybe just 1 cent in fees, right? So it's cheaper for me. So get a Lightning wallet and I'll pay you.
I'm not sending anybody else Bitcoins unless they have a Lightning wallet now. So Habib is asking, what does it take to run your own node? I think a Lightning node.
Okay, yeah, very good question. So it's two ways, right? It's two ways. One way is if you're running it, if it's just like a hobby, right? If it's as a hobby, you could get a Raspberry Pi. You have a Raspberry Pi. It comes with a full guide on how to run your node. So to show you how to download a full Bitcoin blockchain, you know, show you how to integrate Lightning. There are already softwares for that. So frankly, what you'll be doing is just putting things together. You don't need to do any, you know, heavy technical stuff. So I'm going to share the links to tools that allow you to run your own Lightning node, which is Umbrel. So there's Umbrel, there's My Node. So you could just do those things. Yeah. Okay.
There are more questions coming in. So we have another question from Calvin. Calvin is asking, is Lightning going to handle growth of users as more services implement it? I think that's a big concern right now.
Yeah. So I mean, very good question as well. It's gonna do that. It's designed to do that. It's designed to say, you know what? When billions of people come onto this network on Bitcoin, this is how we should solve it. So as it stands, Lightning can handle more transactions than Visa and MasterCard combined. As it stands today, like they've even made further optimization. So as it stands today, you can bring all the transactions on Visa and MasterCard to the Lightning network, and it will be like, that's not even started. So the Lightning network is currently designed to handle 1 million transactions per second, right? So just think of how huge that is. And you and I have tried it. It's that.
So whether it's a million or one person, the speed remains the same, the fees, nothing changes.
Not much changes. In fact, what's supposed to happen is as more people come on the network, right? As more people come, as more services implement it, it becomes even more interconnected, that it doesn't even become more expensive, right? That it rather becomes even probably cheaper to transact on the network.
So it only gets better as more people join.
It gets better, yeah. So it's get better.
All right, Dennis is asking, how does automated recall buys work?
Okay, recurring buys. He's talking about the recurring buys. Okay. So for the automated recurring buys, that's dollar cost averaging. So you know that thing that we talk about Bitcoin when I'm sure that we've always had friends, or it has happened to us where we say, what's the best time to sell? Bitcoin is dropping. Should I sell now or not? And so we say, you know what, I have money. Is Bitcoin going to drop? So should I wait for it and then buy? And you're waiting, and then Bitcoin just goes higher and you didn't even buy, right? There's always this anxiety when it comes to thinking about Bitcoin, right? But with recurring buys, it just means that you're doing what we call dollar cost averaging. You're telling yourself that, you know what, every week I'm going to buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, regardless of the price. I'll just make sure I buy $1. That's what I'm doing. So what that happens to the recurring buys is Bitnob automates that process for you. So as long as you fund your wallet and you have, say, $10 and say, for the next 10 days, I want to buy $1 worth of Bitcoin every single day. If Bitcoin is flying and dropping, people are worried. You're not worried, because for you, you just have to make sure that you buy $1 worth of Bitcoin that day. You don't care about the price. The plan is that over time, your purchases are kind of spread out where the volatility doesn't affect you. So it just, in a way, as Bitcoin drops, you buy the dip automatically, right? So it goes higher, you buy. At the end of the day, you are doing better than people who are actually wasting time trying to ask, when should I buy, when should I sell, when should I buy, when should I sell? So just get you thinking of Bitcoin as a savings kind of account. And when you look at it, it's what has been working for the Bitcoin OGs. It's things we've been doing for years, and it's just something that we've automated.
Someone is asking, I think that they're just worried that might Bitnob face a ban because of soon, or because of
We've already faced one, my brother. We've already faced one. We've already faced one. So we're still alive. So around security, I've been doing Bitcoin since 2013. I've been coding on Bitcoin for a while. At Bitnob, what we do is we're not dependent on any third-party APIs to kind of handle Bitcoin for us. Because when it comes to Bitcoin, there's something called multi-sig, right? There's something called cold storage. So at Bitnob, we run our full Bitcoin nodes, we run our full Lightning nodes, so we have full control of it, right? No government can come shut down our nodes for us, for example. And with the multi-sig as well, even if Bernard is not around, Bitnob still runs, right? Because there are a couple of people who have access to those wallets. Bernard alone, because of multi-sig, you have a multi-sig of 3 or 5. So 3 people must actually sign that transaction for the money to leave our wallet. If Bernard decides to become a bad guy today and say, you know what, people have $10 billion of Bitnob, let me take the money and run away. I can't do that. We have investors, right? We have advisors, people of good repute who also have access to this wallet. So it's not really a thing that I can just wake up myself and say, I want to move away with people's money, and then I'm able to do it. And for the hackers side, what we do is we move most of our money to cold storage. So cold storage just means that the money is not online, right? It means that it's not online. So even if a hacker hacks what you call the hot wallet, the company and everything, the bulk of the money is still offline. So these are the things that we keep in place, we keep in check to make sure that these are, because we also have our Bitcoin there, right? I use Bitnob, so I have my Bitcoin there, right? I have family, I have friends, that use, so it's really a thing of, we have to try to protect this as long as we can, because Bitcoin is going to be big. I can assure you, I've seen this from less than $1,000, right? So if someone had told me that this would be 60K back in 2013, I would never have believed them. Right. Well, we've seen that today. So if someone tells me Bitcoin is going to be $10 million tomorrow, I won't be offended. I won't be surprised, right? So it's really like, let's do our best to keep this. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And touching on security again, Bernard, someone is asking, how safe are my BTC in my Bitnob wallet?
So they're very safe. Yeah. So I think that's what I explained. So that's what we do. Cold storage and multi-sig. So cold storage is entirely offline. Then securing it offline as well from, because once it's offline, it means that only the person who has access to it can actually touch it. But doing that as well, what we've done is have it distributed, so multi-sig. So David could be one of our advisors or investors, and David is in Kenya, right? And I'm in Nigeria, and we have Eunice in the US, right? So we all have to sign that transaction before it can go out of the wallet, right? So those are the security measures that we place. So apart from the fact that we help you secure your own account on the app, so you have security questions, you have a PIN, there's 2FA. So on your own end, you do your own, and then on our own end, we do our own. So we're following Bitcoin best practices, that the world other companies do as well.
Awesome, great. Wachiz is asking, what are the key challenges you've come across while handling Lightning Network vis-a-vis on-chain networks?
Okay, yeah. So for Lightning Network, I mean, for on-chain networks, it's really submit a transaction on the blockchain and it just kind of goes through, right? It's just straightforward. It just goes through. At that point, you're dependent on the miners to do it. So you don't care about what happens. You send it out. But with the Lightning Network, you have to do what we call plat finding. So that is, if David is trying to send money to Bernard in Nigeria, Bitnob has a Lightning node, and the wallet Bernard is revealing is a Blue wallet. Bitnob has to find a way to actually contact Blue wallet on time, right? And when we say on time in Lightning, we're talking of 1 second, like split second as it happened. So we have to be able to do all of those things, which is like really challenging, right? So it's a thing of, you always have to make sure that you do this. And for those Lightning channels, we also have to make sure that we have enough liquidity in those channels as well to process the Lightning payments. So you bring your Bitcoin on chain and maybe you want to pay it out via Lightning. How does Bitnob ensure that you have they have enough money in Lightning channels to make those payments for you without you having to worry about it? Right. So those are part of the things. Of course, scaling it. So you have to run multiple nodes. You have to make sure that it's always online, because with Lightning, if it's not online, you can't receive the payments. So you have to make sure that our nodes are always online. So this is not a case of where we can say, please, people, we're sorry, our Lightning nodes are offline, so you can't receive payments now. It's really bank grade, Visa network grade kind of reliability that we are able to offer, via the Lightning network integration. So those are like the main challenges that we've faced and we've been solving, and we'll continue solving for.
I think as we wind up now, Bernard, I think it's been a great 1 hour session. I was definitely excited. I was excited to just try out the Lightning Network. I think for many of us as well, it will be now a new experience for us moving forward. And as we wind up, maybe do you have any last words, maybe sage advice, for someone who's trying to get in, or who's also even trying to, do what you're doing? Any last words?
Yeah, I think if you notice, I'm kind of excited. I can talk about Bitcoin and Lightning for the whole day and I'll never get tired, right? I think the first thing is this: you have to forget about what everyone else is saying and look at this for yourself and make this decision for yourself. There are so many positive stories about this, how this is changing people's lives. If you look at El Salvador, a lot of them never had bank accounts, but through Lightning today, they're able to actually transact. And when we look around us, when we go to our villages, we know a lot of people who don't have bank accounts, right? So what can this do for them? This can change things for them. This can make them interact with anyone in the world. And when it comes to things like commerce, when it comes to things like even the fact that one reason why we're poor as a continent as well is the fact that we've actually been locked out of global trade. The current financial systems were not built for us. So we have to take permission to use those systems. But with Lightning, it means my grandmother in the village can meet David online and they transact a business deal and David pays her with emphasis directly. David is able to pay her directly and she's able to receive that money wherever she is. And as Africans, no one is going to build this for us because, people don't understand Africa. We understand Africa. We're here. So we're in the best position to build it ourselves. And we can only build it together as a community, right? So you find ways to, what are Bitcoin projects that are happening? How can I plug myself into this space to be helpful? I could learn a lot and teach people. And we should put out the place of quick, making quick money from this. Most people who go out to make quick money from this typically end up losing. We've seen it over and over and over again. Just be patient. Just find ways to have your skills that are still going to earn you money, and just make sure that for this part of Bitcoin, you don't miss out, no matter how little of this you're going to have. And I think it's our responsibility right now to make sure that every single person we know has even just $1 worth of Bitcoin, right? Because of the potential changes it can make. So I think that's just all from me.
Great. And I think with that, we can end this call. Thank you so much, Bernard, for taking the time.
So if you want to talk to me, you can just text me on Twitter. It's easier for me that way. Then we can move it to WhatsApp from there.
Yeah. Again, also thank you to the audiences who came through, and also thank you for listening throughout. I think we didn't get a lot of people falling off, so I want to believe it was quite interesting and amazing. So, and that's why you stuck around. So thank you, Bernard.
Thank you guys.